Have you ever looked at a photo and wondered what happened after it was taken? The next 7 photos may seem ordinary, but you won't believe what occurred behind each one. Let's begin with the first photo of Byers. Before diving into this story, you might already be intrigued by the photo, but the tale behind it is even more shocking. Byers was a handsome man born into a wealthy family. After graduation, instead of rushing into a job, he pursued his passion for golf and won several tournaments. Eventually, his father handed him the reins of a company, making Evan its president. Life was smooth for him until a severe accident in 1927. While resting on a train's bunk bed, Evan fell, injuring his shoulder and arm. He consulted a doctor who assured him the injuries were not serious and recommended a pain relief and energy-boosting tonic called Radithor. Eager to alleviate his pain, Evan tried it and found that not only did his arm pain vanish, but he also felt remarkably energetic. He began consuming Radithor daily, totaling around 1,400 doses over the next 3 years. However, he soon started experiencing severe headaches, dizziness, jaw pain, and toothaches. In a shocking turn of events, his entire lower jaw eventually fell off. It was later discovered that Radithor contained radium, a radioactive substance, and the dangers of radiation exposure were not understood at the time. The photo shows Evan after the devastating loss of his lower jaw. Tragically, he ultimately succumbed to cancer induced by the radiation exposure. His body was placed in a lead coffin to prevent radiation from spreading. Following this incident, Radithor was promptly banned from production and used due to its harmful effects. The second photo, the Chalisa mountain peak, it's the story about 2 climbers, Hermann Buhl and Kurt Diemberger. Buhl was a renowned professional climber, famous for being the first to ascend the 8,126-meter peak of Nanga Parbat solo. Kurt, on the other hand, was relatively unknown until Hermann recognized his potential and took him under his wing, sharing his knowledge of climbing. Together with Fritz Meyer, they tackled Broad Peak, reaching its summit at 8,051 meters, marking Kurt's first ascent of an 8,000-meter peak. Riding high on their success, Kurt and Hermann decided to climb Chalisa, another formidable mountain. However, as they neared the summit, a severe snowstorm hit, drastically reducing visibility. Faced with life-threatening conditions, they began their descent, but it grew increasingly difficult to maintain contact. Suddenly, Hermann slipped and vanished into the icy abyss. Unaware of what had happened, Kurt cried out for him, but the storm was relentless, leaving him with no choice but to rely on the lessons learned from his mentor. Before starting his challenging trek down, Kurt turned and snapped a photo of the summit of Chalisa. Upon reaching the base, he sought help from other climbers to search for Hermann, but they could find no trace of him, leading them to believe he was lost in the ice forever. Despite this tragedy, Kurt continued to climb, eventually conquering another peak, Daulaguri, at 8,167 meters, making him the second person ever to ascend 2 peaks over 8,000 meters. Hermann Buhl was the first. As of the making of this video, Kurt Diemberger, now 92 years old, is still climbing mountains. The third photo features a black bear at a nature reserve called Abawa. In 2014, a young man named Darsh Patel and his 4 friends went for an outing in the reserve. While hiking, they noticed a bear following them, prompting Darsh to take this photo. As the bear closed in, they panicked and began running in different directions. Unfortunately, this scattered approach meant the bear focused on chasing Darsh. He couldn't outrun the bear and was attacked, while his friends managed to escape and call the police. Although officers arrived and successfully drove the bear away, they could not save Darsh. He was killed in the encounter. It's worth noting that if you encounter a brown bear, it's advised to play dead for safety. In contrast, facing a black bear requires you to make yourself look larger to scare it off. If Darsh and his friends had stayed together, they might have appeared as a larger group and made enough noise to frighten the bear away. In fact, statistics show that black bear attacks are rare, as they typically avoid humans. However, the chaotic escape triggered the bear's predatory instincts, leading to the tragic outcome that day. The fourth photo features a diving trip involving a young couple, David and Tina Watson, who shared a passion for diving. In 2003, they went on their honeymoon to a seaside location where they eagerly donned their diving gear and plunged into the sea. While exploring the coral reefs, everything seemed peaceful until disaster struck. David noticed that Tina was showing signs of fainting and struggling to breathe, and she began to sink. Unable to save her himself, David surfaced to call for help. During this time, other divers in the area captured the photo, which shows Tina Watson just as she sank. After David surfaced, a professional diver quickly jumped in to search for her. He eventually found her and brought her back to the boat, but despite all efforts to revive her, Tina did not survive. Following the incident, police became involved. David was questioned multiple times, providing 16 different accounts of the events on that day. Investigators also discovered he had taken out a life insurance policy on Tina, which would pay out in the event of her death. Witnesses reported seeing David and Tina embracing in a way that appeared unusual, as if he was restraining her. Many speculated that, as an experienced diver, David could have saved Tina but chose not to. With this evidence, police suspected David of murder, theorizing he removed her breathing tube, leading to her suffocation. However, this was only speculation, and David maintained his innocence. He was prosecuted in Australia and later extradited to the United States for trial. Despite numerous trials and a lack of solid evidence, the court ultimately found David not guilty. This photo is entwined with a complex and tragic case, and the true circumstances surrounding Tina Watson's death remain shrouded in mystery. The fifth photo features Andrei Karlov, who served as the Russian ambassador and chief diplomat for Russia in countries such as North Korea, South Korea, and most recently, Turkey. In December 2016, during an art exhibition in Turkey, Karlov was delivering a speech about Russia when tragedy struck. Surrounded by bodyguards, he felt secure, but unexpectedly, an assailant behind him pulled out a gun and shot him multiple times in the back, causing him to collapse. The assailant, identified as Mevlut Mert Altuntaş, a Turkish man and off-duty police officer, reportedly shouted statements related to current geopolitical tensions, including, "Don't forget Syria, don't forget Aleppo," before being shot dead by police and bodyguards on the scene. His motivations for the assassination remain unclear. Some speculate it was an act of revenge, while others believe he aimed to disrupt relations between Turkey and Russia, potentially connected to the Syrian civil war. What adds a chilling aspect to this photo is that the assassin was present in the frame, unnoticed by anyone around Karlov at that moment. The assassination not only shocked attendees but also had significant implication for international relations, stirring discussions about the ongoing conflict in Syria and the dynamics between Turkey and Russia. If anyone has more insights or information regarding this incident, viewers are encouraged to share in the comments. And subscribe to my channel KzenaTopic to discover fascinating facts and expand your knowledge. The sixth photo features a girl at the Monon High Bridge, an Indiana trail commonly used for hiking and sightseeing. In 2017, two best friends, Abigail Williams, nicknamed Abby, and Liberty German, known as Libby, decided to visit the bridge. After walking for a while, they paused, and Libby took this photo of Abby. It turned out to be the last known photo of the two girls. When their families and friends could not locate them, they reported Abby and Libby missing. Tragically, the girls' bodies were later discovered, revealing clues that suggested they had been murdered. Initially, the police had no leads, but a significant breakthrough came when they found a photo taken that day by a witness, which became a key piece of evidence. In May 2017, authorities released a sketch of a suspect based on witness accounts, and a second sketch was created in 2019. Despite these efforts, investigators were unable to find anyone matching the descriptions. However, in 2022, police identified a man named Richard Allen, linking him to the case with substantial evidence. The investigation also considered a theory that the girls might have been victims of a cult ritual, but this remains purely speculative. The primary focus of the investigation is Richard Allen, and as of the time of this writing, the case remains ongoing. This case is commonly referred to as the Delphi Case, named after the town of Delphi, Indiana, where the tragic events occurred. It is a notorious unsolved case that many hope will be resolved in the coming years. The seventh photo, known as the Handshake photo, was taken in 1978 and features two prominent figures: Rosalind Carter, the First Lady of the United States, and wife of President Jimmy Carter and John Wayne Gacy. While the photograph may initially seem innocuous, the story behind the man on the right, John Wayne Gacy, is chilling and dark. John Wayne Gacy was a seemingly hardworking individual who held various jobs, including managing a KFC, working as a chef, and eventually starting his own business. His friendly demeanor earned him respect and popularity within his community, and he even served as a neighborhood leader. During the Polish Constitution Day parade, he was selected to lead the parade, which afforded him the opportunity to meet the First Lady in this iconic moment. However, beneath this facade of success lay a terrifying truth. Gacy was a notorious serial killer, often referred to as the Killer Clown. He would dress as a clown named Pogo for local parties and charity events, further obscuring his heinous crimes. Between 1972 and 1978, Gacy lured numerous young men and boys to his home under the pretense of offering them jobs. Once there, he would handcuff them, torture them, and ultimately strangle them, either with a rope or his bare hands. Following his killing spree, Gacy buried many of his victims in the crawl space beneath his house, while others he disposed of in the nearby river. After a thorough investigation, he was apprehended by police and ultimately convicted of murdering 33 people, although many believe the actual number may be higher. Gacy was executed by lethal injection in 1994. Due to the horrifying nature of his crimes, any photo featuring John Wayne Gacy is imbued with a sense of fear and revulsion, serving as a reminder of the darkness that can lurk behind a seemingly ordinary exterior.
Thanks for watching. I hope you like it. Next video will be coming soon. Bye!